Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gridiron Recap. Kevin Walsh alongside Jersey, Joe Archino, and Ian Sachs. As always, both reporting for ESPN Radio Albany on the Jets and Giants. Unfortunately for the two of them this week. Now, the Jets defense, you give up a big performance to Tom Brady, understandable. But when you get shredded apart by Derek Carr and the Raiders, that's just unacceptable. What went wrong for the defense on Sunday?
34 points to the Oakland Raiders is an unacceptable performance for any defense in the NFL. And when you're the New York Jets, you pride yourself entering the season. You're going to be one of the best defenses. You have Darrelle Revis. You have Antonio Cromartie. The front seven is a very solid front seven. 34 points to Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and the Oakland Raiders. Now, I get it that they're a team on the rise. I get that. But you know what? 34 points, unacceptable for the New York Jets.
And the only thing that really could be worse than that defensive performance is Geno Smith took the field. Ryan Fitzpatrick went out with an injury, and Geno came back on. He did not look sharp. How concerned do Jets fans now need to be moving forward if Geno is going to remain the quarterback?
Incredibly concerned. Incredibly. The meter for being worried has to be at an all-time high with Geno Smith potentially taking over at quarterback for this team. That is the worst possible thing for this team. When he stepped onto the field, I started to cry, and I'm not even a Jets fan. I cover them, but I'm not a Jets fan. I started to cry. He is horrible. Just looking at down 2 scores, less than 2 minutes to go. It takes you 25 seconds to get up to the line of scrimmage to snap the ball on first down. That is unacceptable clock management. Then he gets hurt. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back and throws for a 25-yard pass on his first play back after sitting on the sidelines for 2.5 hours. Ryan Fitzpatrick is incredibly a better quarterback than Geno Smith. And if the Jets have to turn to Geno Smith now, this season is going down by the wayside quickly.
Well, maybe the only thing that can save the Jets is that Fitzpatrick isn't necessarily ruled out indefinitely, and they're going to be coming home hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Blake Bortles has been one of the hotter quarterbacks in the league, so that does not look good for this defense. What are you looking for from this Jets team on Sunday?
Look, in the National Football League, one thing matters above all else, and that is, do you have a starting quarterback who can win you football games? The Jaguars, they've kind of had a little bit of a rough patch. Blake Bortles, like you said, he's finding a little bit of rhythm. And for a young quarterback like that, he's gaining more and more confidence game by game. On the Jets side, I think Ian kind of hit the nail on the head. Geno Smith has tremendous athleticism. He throws a very good deep ball. But his just situational awareness and recognition of the game is just not good. It is not at the ability you need to win consistent games in the National Football League. The Jets have a lot of things to answer on the defensive side, but for me, the only thing that matters at this point is who is your quarterback? Is it Geno Smith? What's going on with Fitzpatrick? We saw they're making calls to Ryan Mallett's agent and their people to find out. That is the biggest question mark that you have, and it's never the question that you want to be asking. Who is my quarterback?
Well, for the Jets, one good thing is that by no stretch of the imagination were they the worst defense in New York last week. The Giants' defense got absolutely embarrassed by Drew Brees. 52 points for that offense. Brees throws a NFL record 7 touchdowns. I mean, what can you even say about this defense?
Honestly, it was one of those performances that you look at, and there were just plays you watch, and your jaw drops because you're looking at the backfield, you're looking at the safeties, you're looking at the corners. There was miscommunication all over the place. There was missed assignments all over the place. Just disorganization. And for the Giants, who are a team where you always look at them, and they're a team that's always very organized, very disciplined. Most of their players are normally in the right places at the right times. But the miscommunication, everything else, it was one of those un-Giant-like performances. Very, very disappointing to see. I know a lot of the players in that locker room, based on what I've seen, and this is a defense that takes so much pride in coming away with those turnovers, being in the right place, recognizing things. Just was not a Giant-like performance in this one against the Saints.
Now, I think, too, that people have to wonder, what's the morale like for this team? They're currently sitting at 4-4 in first place in their horrible division, but this team could easily be 7-1. Out of their 8 games, only 1 game was really out of reach for them. That's when they played Philadelphia, but the rest of those games were really right there. Theirs for the taking, and they let all of them slip. How should this team feel about themselves currently at the halfway point?
You know, at this point, I think the Giants are one of those teams, they don't make excuses. I've talked to so many of the players throughout the season. I've been in all of Coach Coughlin's press conferences. He doesn't make excuses. The players don't make excuses. And they are what they are. They are a 500 team at this point. They've been too hot and cold. They've had trouble finishing football games. There just has not had a consistent enough stretch. Now, they've had a lot of good moments. The offense has had its bright spots. Eli Manning in this game was phenomenal, of course, but they haven't had a performance where I could think you could look at it and say, that's a complete Giants performance, and they're still searching for that. At this point, the only thing they have, which is helping them out, is, again, like you said, that division is very weak at this point. So there's still a ton to salvage and to play for, and obviously they will continue to not make excuses, and they've got to just clean it up.
Now, Ian, I apologize for making you talk about Geno Smith, but a quarterback play that was extremely impressive. Eli Manning goes for 350 yards and 6 touchdowns. Somehow wasn't the best quarterback on the day, but, when someone plays like Drew Brees did, that's understandable. But Eli Manning, great performance, and so with Odell Beckham, a 3-touchdown game for him as well. How should their offense feel moving forward after looking at their 2 big guys in Eli Manning and Odell having those type of performances?
Well, I think when you look at this game, you can focus on the defense is struggling, but I like to look at it as just great quarterback play on both sides of the ball. Of course, you have Drew Brees, one of the best in the game, and then, of course, Eli Manning showing himself, finally having a great Eli Manning day. I think a career-high 6 touchdowns for him. Odell Beckham, 3 touchdowns, Kevin, as you said. And the Giants' offense, I think, finally clicking a little bit. And you see that they're turning to their stars, and their stars are producing. So moving forward, I think this is something that the Giants can hopefully build on, that it looks like Eli Manning, Odell Beckham actually on the same page.
Well, next week, the Jets will be hosting Blake Bortles and the Giants hosting Jameis Winston. So we'll see if they can take advantage of some young quarterbacks. That's all the time we have here, though, on Gridiron Recap. Kevin Walsh alongside Jersey Joe Archino and Ian Sachs. As always, we'll see you guys next time.